I am amazing.
So once again, I've moved back to my mat, and you may have floor space that's available to you right now as you're watching this video, or you may not. So I will offer options that hopefully work with whatever environment you're in. So in your classroom or in your school or in your community, you may offer movement breaks already right now. And that may be something that's already built into your schedule. If it isn't, please add more and see what happens in your classroom. For me, anytime you notice that you're losing track of the class or students are drifting off, or that attention and awareness is not in the here and now, that could be a great moment to add in movement. We've also discovered that adding in some kind of movement routine around transitions. So for example, coming back in from recess, or going outside to recess, coming back in from lunch, at the start of the day or before you leave for the day. Some simple mindful movements around those routines that you have at those transition points can be helpful in supporting the students as they work through that transition in their own nervous systems. So the mindful movement we're going to learn today is a full body mindful movement. And doing these big movements is an example of what some occupational therapists call heavy work. It puts a lot of pressure onto the muscles and joints, and that helps to insulate our nerve fibers so that the signals can travel through our body in an optimal way. When our nervous system is suboptimal, we don't feel so good. And sensory inputs like too much noise, or a lot of light, or a smell that might be overwhelming can feel like too much in our body. So when we take care of our nervous systems through movement, we're better able to process that input that comes in. And we all know that a school day is full of sensory input that can sometimes feel just right, or sometimes feel overwhelming. Okay, for down dog, if you are seated at a desk, you can stand up, walk behind your chair, and use the top of the desk to press into to do a downward facing dog. You'll see what I mean here in a second. You can also use a wall as your support for downward facing dog. So for this pose, I'm going to start on my knees down here, but like I said, you may be standing. I'm going to walk my hands out so that I am on my knees and my hands. So I'm on all fours. I'll curl my toes under in the back. I'll press into my hands. I have my fingers spread pretty wide here, like I'm giving someone a high five. And then I gently draw my navel toward my spine, and I lift my hips up, and I press into my hands to move my hips back. And then I let my head come between my elbows. Now your heels may be high up in the sky, or they may be closer to the ground. Everybody's flexibility is different. And it's different in different parts of their bodies, in your bodies. So from here, I press into my hands, I move my hips back, and then I bring my awareness to my breath. I inhale here. And as I exhale, I press down through my hands again. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. If you're in the pose on the floor like I am, carefully bring your knees down to the ground and stay at all fours. If you're in the pose with your hands pressing onto a table or desk or the wall, slowly walk your hands up to a comfortable position or back to a comfortable position. Bring them to your thighs, and on an inhale, begin to stand up. So now I'm going to walk my hands back toward my thighs as I sit on my heels. Wherever you are, place your hands on your thighs. So take a moment now after doing that mindful movement, after doing down dog, and notice how you feel. Notice your heart. Notice your breath. Maybe notice how the muscles in your arms and legs feel. And now connect those sensations that you felt in your body to a feeling. Did that pose help you feel calm, grounded maybe, excited, energized? Neutral? That's a pose that has different effects on different people, as a lot of them do. Good, so you've made that connection for yourself. And then the next step would be us supporting students in learning how to use what they've noticed to act to heal. So we could have a conversation with our class about what they noticed, and hopefully we have lots of different answers. Some people, when they invert their head in a pose like that, so their head is below their heart, that inversion might feel, some people described it as like a grounded energy. So that's what happens to me. I feel this grounded energy. So I like to use this pose before I'm about to do something that can be anxiety inducing. So for example, I do a downward dog if I can before I do something like a presentation, where I know I want to have energy and enthusiasm, but I don't want it to be frenetic and like a nervous energy. I want it to be an integrated energy. So this pose really helps me with that. So that is my act to heal. That's how I use this pose, this mindful movement, as a tool. It will probably feel different for you. And so you would need to connect it to a circumstance or an experience where this pose might be useful for you. We know some teachers who use this pose where they have their students press into the wall in a downward facing dog before they go to, before they transition from their classroom to another classroom. So like before they go to art class or before they go to music class. Activating the muscles that way can help them reintegrate energy so that they're prepared to encounter a new thing, prepared to go to a new place. And they feel that energy kind of come back into their bodies. And it can be really helpful for easing that transition. So that's one way you could use the tool. So maybe write down, if you have some notes, how this made you feel, how you would use the tool. And then as you start introducing these poses and these mindful movements to your class, you guys could make a classroom list, or each student could journal about how they can use these tools to act to heal as well. Thanks so much.